The Social and Recreation Committee meeting. It is Thursday, March 13th. We're at 6:30, and I'm going to go ahead and call to order. Tonight we have myself, Carrie, and Michael, who has joined us on Zoom. And we'll just go ahead and jump into open items and go from there. Okay, first open item is gym enhancement. So there's still some to-do items. I'm gonna just kind of go through this quickly. The problem that still exists is that we don't have an active credit card yet, so we can't get some of the little things that were part of the project until that is available. But some of the items are priming, repainting, and resealing, or just sealing the window ledges. We painted those to see what the accent wall color would look like, but because it was painted on marble, it needs to be retouched up and then sealed so that people can put their water bottles and stuff without scratching it. We have to receive the powder coated version of our monogram sign, and that's going to be on me, so I will pick that up when it's ready. And then it needs to be reinstalled. And I want to make sure that it's installed a little bit better than it was, because it was crooked initially. So I just want to make sure that it is nice and level. And then we want to install and paint cord covers for the TVs, so those cords aren't just hanging like they are. It'll be kind of nice and clean. Brian already has the covers for those, and he's going to take care of that when he resets, I think, the Roku devices for those TVs. And then we can also mount those remotes, which is on this list as well. What's that, Michael?
I just said okay.
Yep. So we want to also order and install some corkboard panels so that we can post things like announcements, events, maybe even just QR codes to, say, the videos. If we do tutorials, you can put a QR code up on that board and people can scan it, and they can actually get those tutorials depending on the machine they're working on. So that would be a quick way to get that stuff and other stuff like that. It will come in handy. We want to create, order, and install some info/reminder signage. Those are things like instructions for the TVs, so letting people know that there is a Roku device connected. All you have to do is download the app. Again, it doesn't have to be wordy. It can literally be, we create a QR code, you scan it, and it basically downloads, it takes you to the app for the Roku device. You just log in, connect, and find each TV that you want to work. Same thing with like signs to reset machines, wipe down machines. I tell you, I've been in there a bunch, and nobody is resetting those plates on those cable machines. So I feel like that's a problem, because there was one woman who went to Chastity one day and said that the leg machine was broken, but she didn't explain how or why. And so I was in the next morning, and what I saw was that that lever was switched on at the very bottom, and she probably wasn't able to lift the plates because the heaviest weight was locked. Mm-hmm. She probably thought it was broken, because I switched that off, used the leg machine, worked perfectly fine. Yeah. So I feel like people are running into that. They're like, why isn't this working? But they don't know that the lever is maybe on, or it wasn't switched back on.
Hey, Danny, do we provide wipe downs and paper towels or something, or do that everybody brings their own?
We have a dispenser for wipes, so the clubhouse provides that as an office expense.
Also, I want to note that in regards to the signage, mm-hmm. or the signage that we want to put about wiping down gyms and stuff like that. Yeah. I was at my son's apartment this last weekend, and they were redoing their gym.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All new equipment, etc. It's still in the process of being done, but he took me into the gym, and they had on here, do not move machine.
That's great.
On every piece of equipment, it was all over the place. Do not move the machine. So I think maybe that might be something. That's something that I could do on. I have one of those label makers, and that's what that was.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, I like that. It also maybe even reset machine, or please reset the machine, like those. Hey, Brian.
How's it going?
Good. So Brian also has joined us, committee member. And Brian, we've already started, so we got our little recording here with Michael since nobody else is here.
Oh.
No one else is on, so say hey to Michael. He can hear you.
Hey, Michael.
Bye, Brian.
All right. So
You want me to send you that picture or is it necessary?
no, I'm just gonna write it down here. So what did it say? Do not move.
Do not move machine.
Yeah, do not move machine. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Okay, guys.
Yeah, and then other like wipe down the machines. We want to get more like plaques for those because I think that's a very
Yeah.
important one that people maybe don't do. I've seen people, guys, girls walk out without doing that stuff.
If a machine malfunctions because the person using it is a novice as opposed to someone like yourselves, is there anybody there to help them with it? Like, does the PM or chassis know what to do? Or do we, I don't think we want them fooling with resetting, unplugging and stuff like that,
Right.
right? Do we have anything up there that says if it goes wrong, don't do anything or what? Those expensive machines, you don't want people like pushing buttons.
So there's nothing
If
that,
it can do harm.
yeah, I don't think there's anything anyone can do to break a machine unless they're like literally physically tipping something over or completely like dropping plates or something like that. So the problem was that the cable machines have like a switch, the lever. So I don't know if you've seen them up close, Michael, but you basically switch a lever onto green and that weight you've switched on becomes the weight that you actually
Good.
lift.
Good.
Now, some people have switched the bottom weight, which could be like, 160 pounds. And if somebody's in there trying to switch on the 30, but the 160 is still left on, it's still at 160 pounds. That's really what happened. It's not a novice situation. It's just like they just maybe didn't see it or they weren't aware that that was part of the plate system, which we can help educate on that. And I think it's going to come down to more of like communication. So if we were to put out some sort of news blast about, hey, here are some things you may not know about our new fitness center, right? And it's just a list of things to consider and think about when you go in. We can share that on our Facebook page. We can make it an accessible resource online. That's the kind of things we can do. With the Peloton, we want to do some sort of instructional on how to get set up on that. Maybe it's a sheet for a time being until enough people are using it. We can make, again, something like that available.
Yeah.
Brian wants to do something specific there.
I was worried about if they think it's malfunctioning, that they go and start playing mechanic, and you don't want that to happen.
You know what,
Correct.
I think that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, and I think it's a good idea. Maybe we do actually educate both Chastity and Rebecca on what we think might be problematic issues that come their way, and they can either identify them as not actual problems, here's the fix, or they're like, yeah, this looks like mechanical. Let's reach out to, they can reach out to us, and then we can reach out to Fitness Smith, or they can reach direct to Fitness Smith.
Okay.
But
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a good suggestion.
Okay.
Okay, confirm gym rules and with the Safety and Security Committee. So I think I had shared it a while back. I've got to follow up on that and reshare. I want to get some feedback from them to confirm if the rules are sufficient enough. One problem I recognize is that, we've changed the age limit to be, I think it was under 16 with a guardian, like an adult guardian over the age of 21. But I've seen some kids in there who look like they're under the age of 10 with their guardian. And
Really,
I think,
since we've opened it?
yes. And I thought, well, there is a guardian. I could see it's their parent. And the little girl was like on the recumbent bike, just kind of like hanging out. I don't know what she's doing. But my thought was, if somebody was really young using some of those other pieces of equipment, that then becomes, I think, a liability. And so we have to be careful with like, how flexible are we going to be with the age limit? So I want to talk to the Safety and Security Committee and find out what that limit really should be and how do we state that as a rule. So
Right.
I think it's worth looking into.
Yeah.
And the parent being responsible,
Okay.
parent being responsible for anything that goes wrong.
Correct. So the parent, we would assume, or the guardian at least, is a homeowner.
Right.
So we would want to make sure, if anything, we do have some camera systems that are functioning, which is a separate topic, which I know was brought up at the board meeting, so I'm not gonna get into that. But I think, yes, absolutely, it should be somebody old enough, who knows how to use that equipment, or it would be sort of like.
And you know what, even though the security camera right now is not working, I think it should be posted that you're under surveillance. kind of thing.
I
Yes.
agree, I agree.
You know,
You
they
know,
don't need to know if it's working or not.
Yes,
You know,
Yeah.
put it up there saying, yeah, you're under surveillance.
And that is too a quick Amazon purchase, but again, we don't have a card for that. You know, I guess maybe petty cash, you can run to a Tractor Supply and get something, but we have to have money. We're not liquid right now, and that makes it difficult to complete this project. So anyways, let's move on. We want to straighten up the 2x4 light. I noticed that it is crooked. I haven't measured what the different distances are from the mirror, but I, being a designer, can kind of just see these things. I wonder if we can make that adjustment simply enough, something maybe Chris can help us with. He already is aware of the 2x2 foot light that was initially installed crooked. I do not believe it was fixed yet, but I'm gonna bring that up to him. Same thing with one of the fans. They can't go on high speed because the one that was mounted a little bit off balance. Yeah, so it swings too much. He was going to fix that as well. So those are things that are just kind of on my to-do list for Chris. Ordered new wipe dispensers and some skin-friendly, maybe equipment-friendly wipes. I've noticed that the wipes, when wiped on the screen of the stair mill, streaky as
Yeah,
can
you
be.
can't put it on.
Yeah, so we need like wipes that are equipment-friendly, screen-friendly, that still are sanitary. I think they do exist. They're probably gonna be a little bit more expensive, but maybe worthwhile considering we have all this new equipment. So I just wanna look into that. We can even reach out to Fitness Smith. Maybe they actually already provide dispensers with good wipes, you know? We can look on Amazon and see if there's anything. I think somebody who was at the grand opening said that they know of good wipes, but I can't remember who it was. So we gotta do some research there. Like I said, reset the Roku devices. That's gonna be Brian. We want to clean off the rust from the old dumbbells with the barkeeper's friend powder. That's the stuff you suggested. So I want to try and find somebody who can take, say, a weekend and do that. I'm not sure the method of doing that with the actual weights on there, but maybe we could find a video of somebody doing it, and then they can use that and just
It would
basically.
just be a matter of putting it on a sponge and just.
I think, yeah.
That would be great, yeah,
Yeah,
for the rust on them.
I think so. If it's that simple, then we can just maybe set it up. A team of people can get in there and do it one weekend and be done. There's a loose ring on the
Yeah, I
lap pull
noticed
down.
that, it went in there, and that's actually like one of those little,
The tiny little pin screw or
a
something.
pin screw.
Yeah, I saw that. So.
I mean, it doesn't really make a difference as far as the bar is concerned, the usage of the bar, it's
more of a
more
guard.
cosmetic,
You're right, okay.
okay? But yes, it's good to have it in place.
And that we may not even have to bother them. If that's a piece you can get at Lowe's and screwed in, if you know the diameter of it, then we can get that fixed. But
Yeah.
we need to have, again, a credit card, because Chris could go and get that for us when he needs to get other tools and maybe fix it. Order additional plates and bar pad for Smith machine. So we have an estimate for that from Fitness Smith, because what we have may work for some. It does lack certain number of plates to get in between like certain weight loads. So that means that you'd have to go from like maybe 150 and then jump to like 200, but you have to do a complete switch out of the weights in order to do that with the 45s from 25s. So it doesn't make it very easy, but just, you know, it would help, I think, the actual machine itself. Custom built cubbies. So that changed because I was in the gym with Maria this morning, and she has been building these like wood structures. She's really into it. She wants to contribute something to the gym. She could do it for a lot less expensive, and we can get it customized to fit that little space next to the Roman chair. She's going to do one vertically about 4 feet tall, about a foot wide.
Okay.
So enough to put like your phone, if you want to put your keys there, maybe a little water bottle, whatever it is. She can get it painted the same color as the accent wall. She can do all of that for us and have it in there.
Okay.
And I think that's great. and it's a homeowner built piece, which I think is awesome.
That's awesome.
We want to order key holders. It's a credit card thing. Record equipment tutorials. We just talked about that. We should maybe schedule that at some point. Maybe when it's convenient. Maybe over spring break is. I don't know. But we can even do a piecemeal. Maybe we do a few pieces one day and a few pieces another day. We'll work with you guys. Find or create art to go above the mirror.
Oh, hold on.
That's it.
Yeah, I did. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. And that's it.
If I can also add, we were talking.
Oh, accessories.
Well, the accessories,
Yes.
we need to add the accessories.
Correct.
Jim Martha, I see.
Yeah, Lorraine. And Lorraine is here too. So can we roll call?
Something,
Oh, yeah. So,
something like that.
yeah, that's.
Or, you know. You know,
Yeah, I like something that's a little bit more abstract. I think
Yeah.
that makes
there was
it.
another one that I had on here. I'll try to find it for you.
Yeah,
that
if you want to take a look at it, or take, okay.
It was like someone on a bike, you know, but with those kind of colors,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, actually, I have some stuff I'll share with you too after the meeting, because I think we're in that phase now. We can like kind of do research, but until we can sort out the sort of purchasing side of this, yeah, we're limited. Okay, and that's pretty much what I have for Jim. So what was the other item?
So there, if we do a signage,
For like certain.
just so we know or have an idea of how much traffic that we actually get in there.
Well, I think that might happen when we get the new security system, because the key fob system will be linked to homeowners. So we would be able to know who is accessing the gym and all of that stuff, which might be, if something like say happens, we'll know between the hours of say 7 and 8, who was in that gym, if they accessed it that way. But either way, you have to get in this clubhouse through key fob. So even if they came in the main way and then went through that door, it shouldn't matter. But I think we should have a key fob for both doors at some point.
Agreed, agreed.
Danny,
Yes.
I was driving by last night about, let's say about 8 o'clock or so, and I think I can see through that film. So I
At
don't know if
night,
that's
you can
intentional, it's not totally blackout or whatever, I don't know. But I was able to see people from the roadway from there.
Yes, so that is part of tint. It is not going to be privacy as much at night, unless, and this is, I've talked to Jackie about this, we can fix that if we fix the exterior lighting at night. If you have like spotlights that shoot down onto the bushes and stuff, or into maybe the parking area or the driving area, in front of the glass, that lighting will reflect off the glass. You won't see as well inside. It's the same thing with the main area, right where the main doors are. Those lights are not that bright. They should be a lot brighter. And if they are brighter, it will reflect off that tint and it would be less easy to see inside.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so
interesting.
we need to improve the exterior lighting anyways in this clubhouse, but that would solve that problem pretty quickly. But it was actually, the tinting is the darkest we could get without, you know, I think obstructing the view from inside outside. And then you get all the benefits of, you know, lowering the temperatures, lowering the glare and all of that good stuff.
Okay, I just want to let you know.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I've heard that too from other people. Okay. Anything else about Jim that anybody else wants to add, think of before we move on?
He's pretty good.
Yeah. And like I said, I've been in there, I've used every piece except for the Peloton bike at this point, and I think it's just amazing. I'm just pumped about
Yeah, I
it.
like the quick switch for the weights. I
I
love
know.
them. You gotta do a little bit of math, but I still love them. Because you
Yeah,
can like quickly, like when you push really hard and then like you can quickly go down and,
Yes.
and keep going. when you
yeah,
do it down.
it is easier than pulling that pin out.
Right,
Yes, I agree. But I think what you had said about doing all of them so that you don't have the pressure, what's funny is the machines say the opposite, which I wonder what Fitness Smith thinks about that.
What do you mean?
The machine says to switch only the lever of the weight you use, but you guys recommend doing all of them so that you don't have all the pressure on a single I guess,
Right,
plate,
plate.
right?
Right.
Which I understand, and I wonder if that maybe is part of the sort of education, the sort of additional education about the pieces. But I found that fascinating. Somebody brought that up, that the actual machines itself do not say what you guys recommended, and I thought, well,
Yeah, I mean, every gym that I've been in, that's usually what you do.
Yeah.
Flip them all over.
okay. All right, let's move on. St. Patty's Day, scavenger hunt.
Yay, 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 St. Patty's Day.
So, what's funny about this is actually I was talking to Carrie before this meeting, and I hosted as the new Cub Master for our pack, our first meeting, and we did as the kids' activity a scavenger hunt with St. Patty's Day signs. We have so many of them, but we did a few of them. The kids loved it. I mean, they just had a blast. So I'm excited about this because I think it was a fun event that we did in the past, and it's really simple. So I already put the announcement out there. People are ready to go and aware. As of right now, Maria and Sarah have the bin that contained all these little black plastic pots, and in them were gold bags filled with gold chocolate balls. Now, those gold chocolate balls were from 2 years ago, so they're dumping all of those. We have new ones on order, which are getting here tomorrow. It's about a 2-pound bag, which should be sufficient enough. And they're going to put a little bit in each bag and refill them back with the new chocolates, which will be fresh. And that will be the prize that people get. There were a ton left over from the last time. I think we'll have plenty for this. So we should be good there, and they're taking care of that stuff for us. The map and clues, I'm gonna use a little help from ChatGPT to kind of put together some little rhymes and clues for each sign that we're gonna be using, but we're gonna be doing at least, I think, 12 signs throughout the neighborhood. The way I broke it up was like from one end to the other to try and pay homage to each street at least, or each section in itself. And hopefully
It goes into the states, right?
yeah, so we'll start at the estates. There'll be something around that area, and then working our way through like honeysuckle, bellflower, gray fox. I just kind of like counted out what would be all the areas, including the clubhouse as like maybe the last one.
Oh, wow.
But people can go in whatever order they want. It should be really fun. But I should be able to create something that gives enough information where you can find the thing. It's not too hard for kids, but a little fun and challenging. And so I plan to get that ready by Sunday release, and we'll have some printouts in the clubhouse before then, as well as you can download it yourself. The event itself is going to go from the start of Monday to the end of Wednesday, ending at our food truck night, which would be kind of cool. So that's kind of how we're going to play it out. And when people complete the scavenger hunt, they bring their completed sheets where they basically have written down what is the sign that they found at each location. And when that's filled out, they get their prize. The prizes are going to be handed out by either Chastity or Rebecca during office hours, so that we don't just leave a bin out for kids to come and grab. I've seen on Halloween, that's what kids do. So they will be sort of the gatekeepers of the prizes, and you can get them basically all the way through Friday. So if you're not able to collect your prize up through Wednesday, you have till Friday to come into the clubhouse and get it. And that's pretty much it. Pretty simple. The only thing we still need is just some help with collecting all the signs around the community after Wednesday. It could be Thursday, it could be Friday, and then also doing an inventory of what's left over as the prizes in the bin, and just maybe writing that on a sheet of paper, putting it on the bin so we know next time exactly what we have and what we need. And that's pretty much it. Any questions there?
Nope.
All right.
If there's leftover chocolate this year, like there was last year, why don't you bring them to the truck night and just pass them out to people?
Oh, that's a good idea.
That is a great idea, Michael. Thank you. We will do that.
We're just gonna throw that other stuff out, so,
Yeah, that is correct. So it's really the pots maybe we want to keep, and actually,
Yes.
people would bring back the pots afterwards because they knew we would reuse them, which I thought was nice. We might even say to Chastity and Rebecca if they want to just mention that, hey, if you don't want to keep the pot, just bring it back and we'll reuse it. But they're pretty inexpensive anyways. All right, cool. Food truck night. So we are locked in for Wednesday, March 19th. We have only 2 trucks this time because one of those trucks is an all-encompassing truck. They have everything that you maybe can think of in terms of sandwiches, wraps, pizzas, and all that good stuff.
That's great.
It's a nice variety. They said that they can, if we chose 5, and I did that, where 3 of them might be considered maybe not the healthier option, but 2 of them can be, which would be like a chicken grilled chicken salad, Caesar salad, and another one would be like a kind of a Caesar wrap or something like that. And then we'll have our ice cream truck. So Patrick, who owns the Carvel truck, will be out again, and we'll be set up. We'll get assistance from Grady and Dottie Stevens again to help set up the tables and chairs. They have been so kind to do that in all the food truck nights, even to help break them down. One problem I ran into with the last one is that Chris brought out the speakers and the cord, but nothing was plugged in and there was no iPad. So we need to make sure that everything is out and set up and ready to go, including the iPad. We're supposed to have a subscription for Spotify, and there's already like playlists on there. Music can just be on like autoplay, and then it just goes. We had the speakers on the tennis courts at one point, but you can't hear them if you're not on the tennis courts. So the thought was we were going to move it closer to where the eating area was, and maybe just turn down the volume so that there's still an ambiance of some music there, and people can sit and enjoy their food with music. And then the rest of it is just, you know, the cornhole boards, the giant Connect 4, the playground, which is its own enjoyment, and then you've got the little food truck area, which is usually lit up by the trucks. And that's it. And with daylight savings time, we'll have more light, hopefully less bugs.
Sure.
I did shift it 30 minutes because of that, because most people who were coming to the food truck nights didn't come until after 5:30. A lot of it is because they're coming home from work, they're gathering their families, and then they're making their way out there. It is spring break, which is why we bumped up the actual food truck night to take advantage of that. But I think it'll be a hit. I mean, spring break, you know, people are going to want all the activities they can get.
This is next week, right? All of this.
Correct. Yep.
Monday.
Yeah, and so that's pretty much it for open items right now. So I want to move on to some new items. Unless anyone has anything else regarding these, you know, I think I'm going to take more notes. One of the things I want to look into, by the way, for the food truck nights, and maybe somebody on our committee could do the research, but I want to find out about mosquito spraying. If not mosquito spraying, they used to do it in Martin County. I haven't heard that truck in a while, but I used to be able to recognize the truck when it was coming through. If we can't do that, maybe it's worth investing in those tiki torches. That was told to me by the last food truck that we had. And if we can get enough to sort of border maybe the eating space at least,
Right.
maybe we buy in bulk at Costco or something like that and use them only for the food truck nights.
Right, because they come in like 6-pack or something, right?
Yeah, right. You get them in like a pack of soda. Maybe you just get it like
To
in
get a
bulk.
couple of shepherd hooks, and you can get at Home Depot, they have bug zappers that at least you won't have to worry about starting a fire. You know what I mean?
True.
As
Yeah.
far as safety is concerned, anybody just
Right.
kids goofing around or whatever,
Sure.
not, you know,
That's a good point too. So the zapper, you know,
and that'll take a large square footage.
Okay.
You can just
so we would have to plan out, maybe we start with 2 and like just kind of border the
Right.
eating area for the time being. And then if we need to expand, we can. But I think it's worth looking into at least, like, what are the costs of all these things? And even the spraying, because I think the spraying might be the easiest one to do if they will come out for a call or something like that.
Yeah.
I know
The
it.
zappers, although I look on Amazon, they're expensive. Like,
Well,
there used to
the
be
one
like,
I bought one at Home Depot that really wasn't, it was like.
really?
Does
Huh.
it work?
Yeah.
Does it work?
Does it work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know we used to do our backyard, whatever, with using a fogger. So it almost looks like one of those, like a blower, but it's a fogger. And you fog around the ground, whatever. But I don't know if any of this stuff really works. So I don't know. And that's Home Depot, and to me that would be more of a HOA expense as opposed to
Like a social, yeah, I agree.
used for everything.
I agree. Okay, cool. All right, let's move on to new items. So the big topic here is the Easter event. So I'm using my phone for that, but I think we were looking at the Saturday before Easter Sunday.
19.
Yeah, the 19th. So I think that's easier to do something like this because most people have plans for actual Easter Sunday. And the biggest part of the Easter event was the Easter egg hunt. One thing I want to do after the meeting is go in the closet and take a look at the bin that has all the Easter stuff, because in there is still leftover inventory of items that were used. We can try and do an inventory count and find out what do we need. I'm going to also talk to my wife Jillian, and also I think Jill Watson was involved in the planning in the past, just to make sure, you know, we order enough if we need, what that would look like in terms of kids. I think the way they would do it is they would break up age groups. So you would have like the smallest kids in like one section of the tennis courts, the next age group up, maybe on the other side of the courts, and then older kids would be out in the field, something like that. We can also utilize the playground, you know, to hide some eggs too, which would be really fun. So I think if we put together all the sort of task items of like, what do we want as part of this event, you know, then we would just kind of divide and conquer. So my thoughts are obviously, you know, egg hunt. I think we did like the spoon carry sort of
That's a really
challenge.
good idea.
Yeah.
Very cheap, very simple. Again, this is going to come down to sort of organization of the day of, like, who is going to be in charge of the egg carry? Who is going to be in charge of, like, let's say we do a 3-legged race, right?
Volunteers.
Yeah, volunteers, but we want to be able to designate those people, and so each person has kind of their role ahead of time, and when we just work out the timeline, right?
I think for volunteers, maybe we can grab like a couple of like high school kids, because they need like volunteer requirements by the end of their senior year.
I like that.
Maybe
You know
like
a
reach
couple?
out. No, I don't know anybody.
Do you have any
Yeah, because I'm in
on
college,
call?
but maybe like you reach out in Martin County, hey, we're doing this small event, if anybody wants to volunteer, and then we just like sign, they have like a sheet that you need to sign and how many hours they did.
Well, I would imagine we have high
Right.
schoolers in the neighborhood too.
Right,
you know.
exactly.
We could probably, that's a great point. I can put out a post and say, hey, any high schoolers needing some volunteer hours, let us know. We have a big event coming up. We can use your help, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
That's a great point, Brian. All
And it
right,
also completes their volunteer requirements for graduation.
very cool. 3-leg race. Yeah, and I think that should be sufficient. If we did the hunt, the spoon carry, 3-leg race, you have music out there. The only other thing that I think would be really neat for kids is if we had like, you know, Easter bunny.
That's most important.
Yeah. So something we can look into. Maybe we reach out to Jeremy, who was, you know, our helped us out with the Christmas parade, and see if he has that, because he's big on holidays and big on sort of costumes. But I can reach out to him because I've been in touch with him for food trucks, and see if that's something that he handles. Otherwise, I thought we had a costume, but I have to look in the bin to see if it's there. I thought we had bought one in the past. So we'll check to see if that's there. If not, we'll look into making that a possibility and what something like that would cost. And I think of all those things, egg hunt, spoon carry, 3-legged race, Easter bunny, I think that's enough, right? You guys think of anything else? Like, do you think we should have a craft table or something like that?
Craft table.
Yeah. Like some sort of like craft, whether it's just a coloring Easter bunny pages, or maybe like coloring of the eggs.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Sure.
something like that.
Does anybody just do face painting?
Face painting is a good one.
We could hire a face painter. I've seen them at a couple of different events. Actually, there's a face painter at your sister's birthday party.
Exactly right. Right.
So, actually, maybe if you can connect us with her, you know, that would be cool.
Actually, my mom probably has her contact.
Okay.
Everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll.
Yeah, that would be great. We'll get that from her afterwards. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, we want to basically, our questions here are, who are going to be the volunteers? What's going to be the timing of the event, and what are our needs still? So I just wanted to kind of lay out on the table this event, and I will start a new thread in our email specifically on this, and we'll list out just kind of like what are those bullet points, and then try and collect all those things as we go along. We should, I think, have a meeting before the event. So that will give us enough time to sort of like tailor the final details in the way we need, and then confirm that we have everything ready to go. That sound
My
good?
daughter's an elementary school teacher, so I will ask her. I know she's done a lot of events like this.
Okay,
If she has any good ideas that we can use.
cool, all right. Okay, excellent.
Danny, in the past, when we had contests, we had kind of like prizes for people who won the contest. So that's something to think about. I think there is someone brought in a baskets or platters of chocolates. I don't know who donated them, but it was some chocolatier. I don't know who did it. Maybe Jill will know who did that. Also, we always put out some kind of refreshment, like either water or coffee or something like that. I think there was like 1 year, I think we had empanadas and we had donuts and all that kind of stuff. So that aspect, I don't know if there's money to be able to do that and where you get it, but that's another component of this.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I wonder too if it's maybe worth looking into a food truck.
I believe that these things were donated last time.
Okay,
I don't think there was any expense, so I don't know which one of the Jills organized that, but someone has some knowledge about that. I don't think we paid anything for anything from Dunkin' Donuts to anything else that was there is donated. So I guess reach out to them and whoever organized it and see.
okay, so yeah, I will check on that, and then I think I can make that part of like looking for volunteers post, you know, also looking for donations or is sort of the added help if anyone knows anyone, let's say, for example. Okay, yeah, great point on the prizes. We'll have to look into that, something maybe very sort of simple, but unique to the event. Okay. Anything else on Easter?
No.
Okay. All right, on to the next item is sort of committee membership. So, you know, I want to continue to sort of empower committee members and break up our team into like significant leader roles. So as of right now, we have, you know, 2 main positions, which is treasurer, that's Linda. I have to get with her and Brian to try and create what is our committee budget sheet. We have one, I think, that Courtney started with us when she was here, but Linda said that she was going to help us reorganize and get all the numbers straightened out. I want to make sure we have a tab for the gym, you know, so that that's easy to access and the finance committee can reference that. So it's important that I get with her. That's kind of on me to do because I got that started. And then once she has it and we're up and running, I think it'll be a good resource for us to check, like when we're looking at where are we at with her budget this year. And then committee party coordinator, Joanna took that on. So that's going to be like kind of the end of year party for all committee members, all volunteers of the neighborhood. So we can get together and celebrate all the things we accomplished and, you know, kind of enjoy it. And I wanted to create a new one, which would be a movie night coordinator. I'm going to put it out to the entire committee in an email, but it's a very simple task. But the idea is it's going to come down to just the setup of the screens. If we're going to do it outside with the inflatable screen, or now we can do it in here. And so we want to try and have somebody who is kind of on top of the organizing and collecting of the participants for that event. I can't be at all of those, and I'm running out of time the more I work on and do. So if I can empower somebody to do that, I think it would be great, and we can start to make these regular, which is what we really should, because we own a screen and we own a really great TV.
Well,
I have a
as you
question.
know, that a big help was George putting this stuff together, if you remember.
I do remember that. And
George
actually,
will put out the screen, blow it up, get the chairs and all that kind of stuff. I'm not
Yep.
too sure you're going to get the same amount of cooperation through the gentleman who's here now. Michelle is working on that.
Okay.
She says it may be in transition, and I'm not too sure where it's going to be, 2 weeks from now, or whatever. But George did a lot, setting up chairs and making sure the garbage cans are there and the screen and the speakers, all that stuff. He did it. Period.
Yeah.
That's a big
No,
job.
I remember that actually. Courtney too. Courtney was late,
yeah.
and she would help out, and I had a chance to help them set up the projector and the screen once. So I actually know how to do it too if I need to like show anybody how to work the projector and how that screen actually inflates. You know, I know exactly where they're positioned for the dive-in movie night, which was a huge hit, and I want to do that again. Especially now that it's staying, well, when it goes darker earlier is when we want to start doing those again. Because when it was lighter later, we had to start the movie later. But yes, you're right. That's a great point.
Something to keep aware of. You're probably going to need more volunteers as opposed.
Yeah, and I think it's going to require a dry run too. Like once we kind of identify those people, we can do it before the actual event. We can inflate the screen, set up the projector, test it out, and say, hey, look, that's how easy it really is. Deflate it, put it away, ready to go.
We also had an icy machine, right?
We
During
do.
the
We have a
last
snow
time,
cone
right,
machine,
the
which
snow
we
cone.
utilize. We have a popcorn machine.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, which is fantastic. We use that too. I would really love to do a movie night in this space. I mean, that TV with these
Right.
speakers set up, Brian's going to make sure these are working, and bean bags, chairs, all that good stuff. I mean, that could be really fun. We want to do like video game tournaments. I already played Mario Kart on this thing with Brian Baldwin and his family, which was a blast. We wanted to test it out, and it was a good time. So I want to see people doing that. I mean, this is here for us to use, and you know, it's on a really strong mount, so it shouldn't be going anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, movie nights I think should be a regular occurrence. I can continue with food truck nights because I've been having those conversations with the vendors. It's kind of almost at a set it and forget it stage right now. And once we figure out all those sort of details about the bugs in the speakers and stuff, it'll just be the same every single time. Okay. I'm sure I'll come up with a new leadership position at some point, but that's it for now. And if anybody wants to create their own and they want to get involved, that's perfectly fine too. That would be fantastic. All right, 2025 calendar. So we want to look at that sort of next. I'm calling it the Libation Exploration events because we don't know what actual beverage we're going to do it. We've done a wine tasting, which we will do again, probably the exact same time of year because that was a huge success. So we'll just copy and paste that. But you know, I have that pamphlet you gave me, Michael, for like the craft beer expo sort of thing. I think that is a really cool one. I haven't reached out to them yet, but they're on my list to call. I did speak with what's the vodka company? The muscle vodka.
Oh, yeah, muscle vodka.
I spoke with the girl there and super nice. I have to get back in touch with her. What's that, Michael?
Yeah, I think I have her name.
Yeah. So they've got a huge assortment of like kind of the flavored vodkas or the mixes, the moonshine, all that good stuff.
Right.
So they are very willing to do an event. We can talk to them and try and create something like that. I think that would be really, really unique, especially because they're local. And so that's an option too. I did also speak with Barrel of Monks down in Boca Raton. Now, Barrel of Monks doesn't typically travel this far, but I mentioned the head count from the wine tasting, and he says it would be worth it if we can get it minimum of like 30 people in here. He can create a very unique event for us, and there he gave us some options. I'll tell you 3 of them. The first one would be strictly a flight. So he would bring an assortment of different styles of Belgian beers, and these are all Belgian style beers. They are high quality. I have been to this place, and it is fantastic. It is a popular place too. And he will come and he will basically educate people on the different variations in those styles. And he used to be a sommelier. So when he speaks about his beers, he's speaking almost like a sommelier. And you learn a lot and you start to appreciate the beer so much more. It's why I fell in love with that brewery when I used to live further south. The other style is he can do a beer versus wine pairing. Because he knows both worlds, he can bring bottles of different, he would do 3 types of, he would do like a Pinot Grigio, a Pinot Noir, and a Cabernet, I think, the 3 distinct styles. And he would pair them with 3 distinct beers that actually play off the nose and the foods in the same exact manner. And he will explain how this beer and this wine work in the same way with food.
Cool.
That,
I like that. It's
great
cool.
option.
I know. And so that's option 2. The third one is my favorite. It is a beer dinner battle or pairing. So it's actually, it could be a battle, but he's going to do it as a pairing because you'd have to have 2 breweries involved. They used to do these down in his brewery, and I used to actually be a regular subscriber to these events, and they were so cool. But the way they work is we would get maybe a food truck to come out and put together a 4 or 5 course menu of small bites of some kind. My initial thought was the grilled cheese truck we had here would be perfect because cheese and beer goes real well together. But he could create like small, tiny triangles of his grilled cheeses of the different varieties. And then Barrel of Monks would know that menu and pair particular beers to those styles of grilled cheeses, and then they should go well together. He can explain with the chef why these are working. And so basically you get a food and you get drinks, and it's a really cool thing. So those are the 3 options. He's more than happy to do that. He's dealing with a bit of a general manager or on-site manager challenge right now, but he's going to get through that, he says, by the end of the month. Then he's ready to sort of explore, but he wants at least a month in advance before he can come out and do this. So this might be something we do a little bit later, maybe toward the end of summer, and something to consider. So I'm excited about that as an option too. I reached out to other breweries. None of them seemed as excited or, enthused about the idea of coming out here, even though I said, we can get a good amount of people, but we've got options.
Can you connect it to Oktoberfest?
That was another idea. I think that's a great idea.
I didn't hear.
Michael,
What was it?
Lorraine said we can maybe connect the beer event to Oktoberfest.
Oh.
So doing it in October. We could do another one. Honestly,
Yeah,
we could do an Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure he can organize that.
Yeah, so I absolutely think we could do that.
So keep on your list too. The other idea was to get Sailor, who is the mixologist, who will put on a program for us. Great TV there. She'll come on. We just have to, she'll give us the ingredients and everybody brings their own, some mixers and vodka, and she'll say, vodka or bourbon or something, make Manhattans, whatever. She'll teach everybody how to do it remotely. She does it all the time, all over the country. And she said she would do it for us, and the cost would be depending upon how many people we have. So we didn't get into those details, but put that on your list.
Yeah, you know what I would like to do if it's possible? Maybe you could set up like a very quick 15-minute call with her. And I just want to see how does that experience happen in the clubhouse where are they making drinks?
Yeah.
So we would have to purchase.
She is teaching you with the same ingredients where in her studio. And she'll say take your shaker, put, 2 ounces of vodka, put some vermouth or something like that and shake it, whatever. And it's kind of interactive type of thing. And I've been to these, they're really fun.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that sounds cool. So I'm just assuming people will be bringing their own sort of.
Yes, it would be bringing their own.
Okay.
Their own liquor or share. If you come 4 people, bring 1 bottle of vodka, that's fine too. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They would bring that kind of stuff. And then we can bring we can get either chocolates, cheeses and things like that. We can figure that out. Okay, so that's one thing, just keep on the agenda and your thought, because we have variations. And I love your idea of utilizing the big screen TV. Okay, so another idea would be we can have an adult date night. Turn that room into a theater somehow, just like a theater, and people can bring their own, set up a little bar or something like that, and they go out there and and I don't want to get involved with having babysitters in the next room, the little kids are and all that kind of stuff. It'd be kind of nice that that people of all ages, adults, can sit down and watch an adult theme movie, not an adult movie, adult theme movie.
Got it.
Something that the kids, maybe a little bit too much, like Die Hard or something. I don't know, something maybe that, and show that on the TV. I think that would be like a no-cost kind of situation, which would be fun. That would be fun. So I like the idea of utilizing the big screen TV and turning that area into a theater. Highlands Reserve Theater Night. You turn it into a theater. We'll have popcorn in the back, that kind of stuff. I think it's kind of neat.
Yeah, we're gonna have to test out the acoustics in this space too. We may need to put up some like acoustic proofing art or something like that at some point, or Brian is gonna help with this because Brian used to work at Best Buy, not you, but Brian Baldwin, obviously, and he's gonna try and help with the acoustics in here. You know, even with the board meeting, I think people felt like the recording audio was not easy to hear, so that might be a mic situation where we
Okay.
get
I think
something.
it can be worked out by maybe some portable speakers or something.
Yeah, so we're gonna maybe have to test out that, you know, maybe as a committee, we take half our meeting and we just like throw on something toward the end to see what it really sounds like in here. But yeah, I think we should definitely test that out. I like that idea. Somebody also mentioned like sporting events in
Sure,
here.
Super Bowl party.
Yeah, I mean, you have to imagine, we went big because people are not going to have a 98-inch TV in their homes.
Right.
If you want to see the game on the biggest screen possible, guess what? You come to your clubhouse. So now it's an attraction. It's an amenity. So I think it's going to be really beneficial when people realize it's here.
Another thing we can do is actually March Madness.
Yeah, I know.
Right now.
When is that, by the way?
It's
March.
in March.
I know,
right,
but
yeah.
you know when it starts? Or
No idea, but
It's
it's just,
coming up.
yeah, it's coming
Okay.
up pretty fast.
Yeah, we would have
Around
to.
the 17th to the 25th, something like
Okay.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year, yeah. But that was
Or
mentioned
the
actually.
Lions or something.
Yes, okay. Yeah, right, UFC or something like that, yeah. Okay, cool. So yes, we want to start utilizing this TV. There's so many ways we can do it too. All right, and just to finish up here, the next food truck night in April will be the last Wednesday, so we'll be back on schedule for the last Wednesday of the month. And we'll work out who those trucks will be. I think I want to bring Jeremy back in. You know, he was kind of our go-to truck. So with Labby's Italian Eats, he's always kind of updating his menu too, which is fun. And he'll help coordinate maybe a second, third truck as well. And we'll get that going again. But I think we might be at a point where we could start to be on rotation. So maybe we look at the first 3 trucks that were initially here, we start up again, and then we have it kind of like in a sort of every 6 months sort of period or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, like I said, we'll work on the mosquito issue. All right, and we already covered movie nights, and that's pretty much it. Anybody have any questions, any more thoughts, inputs? I want to get with you on actually the face painter you guys had at your party, because I think that would be fun to have for maybe the Easter event that we're planning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next month.
Yes.
Yes, next
We
month.
have to contact her.
Okay,
So,
she gets booked up.
yes.
Okay.
So quickly, yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
Is this, when do movie nights usually happen, or like swim, or the movie?
Like the
night?
dive-in movie?
Yeah, dive-in.
We did that. When did we do that? Well, that was August. We did that in
August?
August.
Okay.
Yeah, we did that as a sort of like back before school started up again, little event.
Should we do it like out of school event, like into the summer, or no?
We could, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the pool ones are best when it's hot, you know?
Right,
And
right.
and then also when you're in the water, and I was the only adult in the water with the kids, I was the only one not complaining about butts.
Yeah, because like you're just showing your head.
Yes, exactly. So I was just floating, and so like you gotta looking back, everybody's like smacking themselves. And I'm just like relaxing. Like, this is great. So I think the adults are probably going to be in the pool next time, but it was a blast. And we had done a kids theme sort of animation. We've been doing animated movies, but I think we can look more into like some like more family sort of oriented movies that adults and kids enjoy together.
Does Martin County do any mosquito control spraying at all
I think they do. They used to, but it's something we
They
want to look
used
into.
to.
Yeah.
with the mosquitoes?
It got really bad. I literally stepped outside during the board meeting to talk to our irrigation guy, Doug.
Yeah.
When I walked back in, our board members were like smacking themselves. It's on camera.
Yeah, that board, that
Yeah.
board was on, like that board meeting with the finance and everything.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I think that's pretty much it for social and rec stuff. We've got a good amount, and just next week alone is gonna be a fun week, you know, with spring break and stuff. Yeah, so should be good, but we'll keep in touch coming into the weekend with the scavenger hunt. And then hopefully we can get some help with picking up the signs and the inventory of the bin. It might be maybe if Maria, and I'm not putting them out there, but if Maria and Sarah are available to do that, since they understand, they know what's in the bin and stuff, maybe that'll happen, but either way, we should get it done. Everyone
I
good?
can check with Martin Kane with the mosquito.
Thank you, that would be
I was
great.
just gonna, I was just saying
I can,
this,
like,
So I was gonna do that anyway, because I was surprised at how bad the mosquitoes were last time. Don't they spray you?
do we know who's our Facebook Echo or something?
What's that?
The Facebook Echo position I've heard about.
We
You know
haven't
that-
figured that out. Do you wanna be that guy?
Oh, I was just wondering, I thought we had someone on there, but this is gonna be posted, right? Like the events and
Yeah,
whatnot.
I got back
Yes.
involved for the sake of just creating events at this
Right.
point. I'm not really communicating beyond that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's easy because I'm creating them in Engage,
Oh,
and
that's right.
I'm
the
literally
app.
copying the information and I'm pasting it into an
Mm.
event for Facebook.
Mhm.
So it's not that difficult, but it's one other thing I'm doing. I would like to hand it off if somebody could do it,
Right.
but again, I can't force anyone. So
Yeah.
it is what it is now, and I think it's so far working. We just have to get more communication, more people on
Right.
Engage,
Yes.
and it will, I think, like participation.
Oh, yeah, and I meant to ask you, because I loaded the app on there, okay? Now, it's it's Billy's house, or it's Billy's, so would
You can be added. You can be
I can
added.
be added to it
Yes. Yes.
on his account?
Yes. You'll be added as a separate member of the household,
Okay,
and you'll have your own email address.
so I can do that on the app.
Correct.
Yeah,
He
he
will
would
do
have
it
to
through
do
his account. There's a feature in the account. I can't remember, like, right off the top of my head. I'll show you after. I'm just gonna stop this since we're done. Let me go ahead and just.
And we have videos for Engage, right?
Engage.
Like if people need help
I
or
don't know when.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
like navigating through the
That'll-
website
that'll
or
let
the
me know about
page.
what's going